The best revenge is to be unlike your enemy, Marcus Aurelius. That's the line, my friends. Hard truth at the start, not louder, not pettier, not messier, different, better, wiser. Today we're not chasing, we're changing. If you've been hurt, listen close. People don't fear losing you because of what you text. They fear losing you when your life no longer needs their attention to feel full. That's the shift. That's the quiet earthquake. Short hook, simple truth. Your power begins where their access ends. Hey folks, imagine this. You're a lighthouse on a rough coast. Waves crash, wind screams, ships come and go. The lighthouse doesn't chase the ships, it doesn't argue with the sea. It stands, it shines. And guess what? The ships learn where safety is, not because the lighthouse begged, but because the light never wavered. That's you from now on. You don't plead your value, you live it. Another picture. Think of your attention like a bank card. Every callback, every long text, every late-night reply. Cha-ching, you're swiping from your peace account. Then the statement arrives. Overdraft, no sleep, no self-respect, no progress. Today we cut the card. We spend on what compounds? Health, purpose, faith, craft, brotherhood. Your energy earns interest when you stop giving discounts. Let's break a lie while we're here. If I don't explain, they won't understand. My friends, they understood just fine when they kept talking. It wasn't confusing. It was convenient. Another lie, if I leave, I'll look weak. No. Clinging is what looks weak. Leaving with calm looks like a spine. Epictetus said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Want less from people who give little. Want more from yourself." I know some of you are thinking, but what if they come back? Here's the fun part. You don't need a weather report to know if it's raining. If they return, your standards will do the talking. No drama, no essays, just access rules, like the gym, open hours, clear fees, zero excuses. And yes, we can laugh a little too. If they text you up at 2 a.m., tell them your standards, sleep at 10, and wake up with discipline. Let's go deeper with simple words. Silence is not cold. Silence is training. It teaches you to respond, not react. It teaches them that your emotions are not their remote control. Your silence is the gym for your self-control. Reps of restraint, sets of patience, gain in peace. Another small story. Picture a seed under soil. Above the ground it looks like nothing is happening. Boring, quiet. But below, roots are gripping, life is forming. That's your season now. No grand announcements, no watch me posts. You're busy becoming the man who doesn't break when someone else gets bored. Here's a quote to carry in your pocket. You always own the option of having no opinion. Marcus said that too. It means you don't owe the world a reaction. You owe yourself a standard. Less defending, more buildings, less noise, more results. This channel is not about bitterness, it's about getting better, not revenge, respect, not mind games, mind growth. We laugh, we learn, we lift each other up. We are the kind of men who walk past the fire without throwing gasoline on it. So my friends, if you're ready to stop chasing and start choosing, press like and subscribe right now. Stay with me. We're going to turn pain into power, then power into peace. Drop this in the comments so the brotherhood sees you. I choose peace. Number 1. Walking away teaches value. The moment you value your peace more than their approval, you become dangerous. That's the hard line to open with, my friends. Not louder, not meaner, just clearer. Today we're talking about walking away, not as a stunt, not as revenge, but as a calm decision that ends the noise and begins your life. Picture this, you're in a tug of war, palms burning, heels digging, heart racing. They pull, you pull, the rope barely moves, but your strength drains with every second. Now imagine you simply let go. No speech, no scene. The rope drops. The struggle ends. That is walking away. It isn't defeat. It's the refusal to invest energy in a game that never pays you back. Epictetus puts it simply. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. I want fewer arguments. I want fewer explanations. Want more of your own calm. That's real wealth. Here's the fear that starts shouting the minute you reach for the door. What if they think I never cared? What if they replace me? What if I look weak? What if they say I ran away? These are normal questions. They're also traps. They drag you back into a courtroom where you keep proving your value to a jury committed to more proof. Marcus Aurelius hands you the key. You always own the option of having no opinion. You don't owe the courtroom a statement. You owe yourself a standard. Let's simplify with an image. Your attention is sunlight. Things grow where you shine it. If you keep beaming that light on weeds, mixed signals, tests, roller coaster games, don't be shocked when your garden looks wild. Walking away is not slamming a door, it's moving the sun. You redirect light to what feeds you, your body, your craft, your purpose, your faith, your brothers who actually show up. The weeds don't die to punish them, they die because your light stops funding them. That's not cruelty, that's gardening. Time to break a popular lie. If I just explain it better, they'll finally see. No, if they valued you, they would have seen when you were giving freely. The truth isn't locked behind a perfect paragraph. It's locked behind their comfort. People don't fear speeches. They fear losing access. Psychologists call it loss aversion. We feel loss roughly twice as intensely as gain. As long as your presence is guaranteed, there's nothing to lose, nothing to learn. When you walk, the lesson begins. Why is walking away so hard? Because your nervous system is hooked on the loop. The dopamine pop from a reply, the mini relief after another round of debate, the fantasy that the next talk will finally fix what patterns keep breaking. Your mind whispers, stay one more round. Send one more message, try one more angle. That voice isn't wisdom, it's withdrawal. Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." The bravery here isn't shouting, it's leaving quietly and staying gone long enough for peace to set into your bones. A little fun example for you folks. Think of your standards like gym hours, doors open at clear times, rules posted big, no excuses. Somebody shows up at 2 a.m. banging on the glass. The staff doesn't argue. The hours speak for themselves. In the same way, if they slide in with a casual "hey" after disappearing, your standards do the talking. Calm, not cold. Mature, not messy. You don't negotiate basic respect at the front desk. Another metaphor to carry, your phone with 100 apps open, notifications non-stop. Battery drains by noon. Walking away is closing the background apps, muting the pings that keep hijacking your focus. Suddenly, the battery holds. Suddenly you have power left for the things that move your life forward. That's not heartless. That's smart engineering for your soul. You might still worry, what if they don't care that I'm gone? Two answers. First, indifference is information. If your absence changes nothing, your presence meant less than you hoped. Grieve it and move. Second, fear doesn't always announce itself in a message. It arrives over time. Silence is a slow teacher. You're not waiting for them to learn. You're allowing yourself to grow. Their syllabus isn't your responsibility. Let's talk about difficulty, plainly. Expect shaky hands the first mornings. Expect your brain to play highlight reels of the best moments while hiding the bill. Anxiety, confusion, disrespect. Nostalgia is a world-class marketing department. The truth is the accountant. Put the truth in charge. Breathe, walk, lift, journal, pray, call a brother, repeat. Discipline is how you escort your heart through the valley without building a house there. Another scene to keep you steady. A lighthouse on a violent coast. Waves slam, wind howls, ships come and go. The lighthouse doesn't chase ships or argue with storms. It stands, it shines. The ships learn where safety is, not because the lighthouse begged, but because the light never wavered. That's you now. You don't campaign for your value, you live it. And here's the deepest shift. Walking away is not ghosting to provoke fear. It's a boundary to protect your sanity. You're not slamming doors, you're closing them gently and locking them while you clean the house inside. Sleep, nutrition, training, focused work, quiet time, real community. The minutes you used to spend explaining turn into reps. The energy you wasted on reassurance turns into results. That's how men rebuild without the noise. I'll leave you with a final path image. You're on a cliff trail at dusk. The view is beautiful and dangerous. The wind is real. Behind you, a voice calls, "Come back, let's talk again. It wasn't that bad. You owe us one more chance. You owe them nothing that costs you yourself. You owe your feet a safe path home. You owe your scars honesty. You owe your future glory. If someone wants a seat in that future, they can meet you on firm ground, in daylight, with respect in both hands. Until then, your steps are your own." Marcus brings it home. The best revenge is to be unlike your enemy. And unlike your old self too. The self that begged, explained, and traded self-respect for a little attention. You're not that person anymore. You're learning the rare skill of leaving with grace and building with grit. That's what makes them fear losing you, even after the breakup, not your anger, your evolution. If this spoke to you, show the brotherhood where you stand. Drop "I choose peace" in the comments so they see you and you see yourself. Stay with me. Next, we'll talk about the most misunderstood tool you have, silence, and how it multiplies your value without a single word. Number 2, silence isn't emptiness, it's leverage. You always own the option of having no opinion. Marcus Aurelius drops that brick at the door, my friends. It's not a cute line, it's a discipline. The world begs for your reaction. They poke, prod, and perform to pull a response. Silence is the refusal to be drafted into a play you didn't write. Picture this. You're standing in front of a motion sensor door. As long as you step forward, it opens. As long as you wave, it slides. That door is their access to your emotions. Silence is you stepping back, hands still, breath calm. No movement, no opening, not to punish, just to protect the room behind you. Another one, folks, think of silence like putting your phone on airplane mode during a storm. The weather can rage, the messages can pile up, but your cockpit stays focused. Turbulence outside, steadiness inside. Here's why silence hits so hard in the real world. Our brains are addicted to feedback loops. When we act, we want a signal back. Anger, comfort, explanation, anything to tell us we still matter. When you stop giving signals, their mind fills the gap with questions that echo in the empty space. Did we lose them? Are we no longer important? Have they grown past us? The loop glitches. The silence becomes a mirror, and mirrors don't argue, they reflect. I know the fears that pop up when you try this. Won't I look cold? What if they think I don't care? What if they move on because I stayed quiet? Slow down, my friends. Silence isn't neglect. It's navigation. It says, I'm not reacting to your timeline. I'm responding to mine. There's a difference between stonewalling to control and self-control to heal. You're not playing games, you're refusing them. Stoicism is not emotional starvation, it's emotional sovereignty. Let's break a noisy lie. If I don't reply right away, I'll lose them. No. If your connection requires constant reaction to survive, it isn't connection, it's dependence. Another lie. If I stay silent, they'll make up a story about me. They'll make up stories whether you speak or not. Silence simply prevents you from arguing with fiction. You are not obligated to be the narrator of their narrative. You are obligated to be the author of your actions. Why is silence difficult? Because reaction feels like relief. It gives your nervous system a hit. Ping, buzz, type, send, dopamine. For a minute you feel less uncertain, but the reaction is a loan shark. Momentary comfort, long-term debt. You pay with your peace, your sleep, your focus. Silence is slower, like saving. It doesn't give you fireworks. It gives you compound interest, clarity, composure, credibility with yourself. Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." It takes bravery to tolerate the space where an answer used to be. A little fun image for the folks at the back. Imagine your attention as a vending machine. Every button they press, anger, guilt, flattery, drops a snack. Your reaction. Silence is you unplugging the machine. Not forever, just long enough to stop feeding habits that keep you weak. They can thump the glass all night. No snacks fall. Eventually, they learn, bring cash, respect, or leave hungry. But what about kindness? Isn't silence unkind? Silence can be the kindest boundary you own. It prevents you from saying what you'll regret and prevents them from living off attention they didn't earn. Kindness without boundaries becomes self-betrayal. Real kindness begins with not lying to yourself. If engaging only reopens wounds, silence is mercy for you and for the version of them that could meet you honestly one day. Here's how the psychology bends in your favor. With no reaction to hook, people have to consult themselves. Without your anger to fight, they face their choices. Without your explanations to twist, they confront their patterns. That's the quiet leverage. You're not teaching with speeches. You're teaching with absence of fuel. In marketing, what's scarce becomes valuable. In relationships, what's not reactive becomes respected. Let's talk about techniques, simple and human. Silence doesn't mean vanishing from your life. It means re-entering it. You fill the space you used to spend arguing with training, reading, building, praying, sleeping like an adult, holding promises to yourself. You implement a 24-hour rule for hot messages. If it burns to say, it earns a full day to cool. You stop explaining boundaries and start enforcing them. You record your wins, not their words. And yes, you still laugh and live. Silence isn't grey, it's gold. It doesn't dim you, it concentrates you. Another metaphor, my friends. Think of a violin string. Too loose, no sound. Too tight, it snaps. Silence tunes you. It brings the string from frantic slack or panic tightness into balanced tension where music lives. When you return to the room, you're not brittle or begging, you're tuned. Now the objection that always shows up, but what if they accuse me of being manipulative? Accusations are free, you can't afford to buy them. Manipulation uses silence to force an outcome. Discipline uses silence to free an outcome. Check your motive. If your silence is a hook, let it go. If your silence is a shield, hold it steady. Marcus again. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Do the right thing, say the true thing, or say nothing at all until you can. You'll notice something beautiful when you practice this. Your mind stops sprinting. Your breath deepens. Your words, when you choose them, land with weight. People who used to dance on your nerves start tripping over their own feet because you took the music away. You become, as we say here, low drama, high standard. That's attractive to good people and uncomfortable to users. Perfect. You just created a filter without raising your voice. Before we close, say this with me in your head. My silence isn't empty. It's full of decisions, full of healed answers, full of new priorities. You are not a ghost. You're a gardener, pruning noise so fruit can grow. You are not hiding. You are honing. And when you finally speak, the room will hear the difference. Less hurry, more honor. If this landed, write this in the comments so the brotherhood can spot you and you can spot yourself. My silence is strength. Stay with me. We're about to turn detachment into value and show you how your access sets the price of everything in your life. Number 3, detachment equals scarcity. Your access sets the price. Control your wants and the world loses its hold on you. That's the heartbeat of detachment, my friends. Not ice, not apathy, sovereignty. Detachment is when your value stops depending on their attention and starts compounding from your standards. When need drops, leverage rises. When leverage rises, so does respect. That's why detachment creates scarcity, because your access is no longer free and price is always set by scarcity. Picture your attention as front row tickets. When anyone can walk in for free, the seats get disrespected, feet on the chairs, loud talking, late arrivals. The moment you set a door, a time, a code of conduct, the same seats feel different. They're the same chairs, only now they cost something: effort, honesty, consistency. Detachment is the velvet rope around your peace. It doesn't make you better than anyone. It makes your life too valuable to run as an open house. Let's break the lie that keeps good men stuck. If I keep proving my worth, they'll appreciate me. No, over-explaining discounts you. Discounts train people to bargain with your soul. The detachment says, I don't sell my value at clearance prices. Epictetus reminds us, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Reduce the appetite for approval and watch how quickly desperation drains from your voice. You go from chasing to choosing, from asking, do they still like me, to ask, does this match my standards? Another image, folks. Think of your energy like premium fuel. You've been pouring it into leaky tanks. Endless reassurance, constant availability, emergency therapy sessions at midnight. Detachment is patching the leaks and setting refill rules. You still give, but you give like a steward, not a sprinkler. You invest where there's return: faith, fitness, craft, brotherhood, future family, real community. A funny thing happens when you stop drenching the wrong soil. The right soil begins to bloom. Why does detachment feel scary at first? Because I need masquerades as love. Your nervous system gets hooked on the ping of attention, even when it's chaotic. When you detach, the noise goes quiet. In that quiet, fear starts whispering, what if they forget me? What if someone else replaces me? What if this distance makes me look cold? Breathe. That's the withdrawal talking, not wisdom. Seneca said, he who is brave is free. Brave enough to let the wrong ones drift. Brave enough to let loneliness be a teacher, not a sentence. Brave enough to believe that respect beats reassurance. Here's the psychology they don't tell you. Scarcity increases perceived value because our brains equate rarity with importance. If your attention was always on tap, they drank without thinking. When you detach, the tap isn't broken, it's metered, not to punish, but to protect. Detachment doesn't say, I don't care. It says, I care correctly. It shifts you from supply on demand to access by alignment. Alignment with what? Your principles, your pace, your purpose. Let's talk tactics without theatrics. Detachment is practical. You audit your inputs: sleep, diet, lifting, reading, prayer, deep work. You audit your outputs. Words, time, favors, responses. You decide what gets your mornings and what never gets your midnights. You build a simple personal policy. If it costs my peace, it's too expensive. You practice delayed response, not to play games, but to ensure your replies reflect your standards, not your spikes. You batch communication the way an athlete batches training. You stop narrating your boundaries and start living them. And yes, you remain kind. Detachment without kindness is armor. Detachment with kindness is art. A small fun example for the folks who like pictures. Imagine your life as a cafe. Before, you ran 24/7 with no menu, no prices, and free refills for anyone who asked. Exhausting. Now you have hours, a menu, clear prices, and a clean space. Some people will complain that it used to be better. What they mean is cheaper. Let them reminisce while you run a real business. Calm, consistent, sustainable. The right customers will love the clarity. The wrong ones will wander off to the discount cart. That is not a loss. That is the filter working. You may wonder, but won't detachment make them think I don't value them? No, detachment makes clear that you value you and that any relationship must value you too. When you're no longer spinning plates to prove you matter, you can finally see who shows up with two hands and a willingness to help. Detachment reveals partners. Need attracts rescuers or users. Marcus Aurelius gives the compass. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. It is not right to keep overgiving to avoid being alone. It is not true that your worth depends on their schedule. Another metaphor to grip, a thermostat versus a thermometer. A thermometer reacts to the room. A thermostat sets the room. Detachment turns you into a thermostat. You set the temperature of your day. Early training, disciplined work, direct communication, quiet evenings. If someone comes in with panic heat or cold shoulder games, your system self-corrects. You don't become what enters, you invite what matches. Will it cost you some people? Yes, but detachment does not take away the right ones. It makes room for them. The ones who respect you will breathe easier because clear access rules remove confusion. The ones who fed on your availability will say you've changed. Smile. You didn't change. You calibrated. You moved from unlimited plans to earned access, and earned access is love's best friend. Now a line to carry in your pocket. I am not scarce because I'm stingy. I am scarce because I am focused. Focused men are rare. Rare men are respected. Respected men don't shout. Their absence speaks. Their standards echo. Their results advocate. You won't need to convince anyone that you're valuable. Detachment lets life do your marketing. Before we close, remember this. Detachment is not the finish line. It's the doorway. On the other side is composure, creativity, and calling. When you detach, you have free time, attention, and courage, and those three build a life you're proud to invite someone into. That's when fear of losing you becomes real for others, because you are no longer easy to replace. Not because you're playing hard to get, but because you're hard to forget. If this landed, let the brotherhood spot you in the comments. I value access. Show them, show yourself, show the world around you that your life is not a public park. It's a tended garden. Stay with me. Next up, we turn boundaries into gravity so your standards enforce themselves without you raising your voice. Number 4. Boundaries are the new gravity, access control. Stand up straight, not to be seen, but so you can carry what matters. My friends, that's what boundaries really are, not walls, but spine, gravity for your life. They keep what should stay close in orbit, and let what should drift, drift. No anger, no ceremony, just physics. Picture your life as a solar system. When your gravity is weak, every random rock slingshots through your sky. Late-night pings, mixed signals, maybe plans, disappearing acts, emotional weather. You spend every day dodging debris. Strengthen your gravity and the universe changes. The time wasters fly wide. The real ones settle into stable paths. That's boundaries, invisible force, visible order. Let's break the soft lie that keeps good men tangled. If I'm flexible about everything, I'll seem easygoing and they'll appreciate me. Flexibility without standards isn't kindness, it's chaos. Marcus Aurelius said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Translate that into access control. If it's not right for my peace, it doesn't enter. If it isn't true alignment, it doesn't stay. Boundaries don't reject people, they reject patterns. Another image, folks. Think of a world-class gym. Doors have hours, equipment has rules. There's a code. Wipe the bench, re-rack the plates, no ego lifting. Nobody storms the front desk screaming, "You don't love me," because there are standards. The gym is clean, members are strong, progress is trackable. Your life needs the same clarity. Post your rules where you can see them. My body gets sleep, my morning is mine, my phone doesn't own me. Attention is earned by honesty and consistency, not to control others, but to control throughput, to protect the floor where your future is built. Why are boundaries scary? Because approval is addictive. You learn to trade your schedule for a smile, your standards for a good job, your gut feeling for a maybe later. Saying no feels like violence when you've been trained to whisper yes through clenched teeth. Seneca gives you the courage line, "He who is brave is free." Brave enough to disappoint people who benefit from your confusion. Brave enough to endure the awkward silence after a firm boundary. Brave enough to let the right ones step closer because you finally cleared space for them. Here's the psychology. Boundaries convert your life from open seating to assigned seating. In open seating, late people sit front row. Loudest voices get attention. The considerate stand in the back. In assigned seating, effort earns proximity. Reliability moves to the center. Respect gets aisle access. Flakes end up where flakes belong, outside the door, telling stories about how you've changed. You didn't change. You calibrated. Your gravity got strong enough to sort the sky. Practical, not theatrical. You don't send manifestos. You set parameters, response windows that protect your mornings and your sleep. No emergency conversations at 2 a.m. about non-emergencies. Plans confirmed, not assumed. Repair by action, not apology. Words matched by calendars and behaviors. You don't argue about the rules, you live them. You don't chase those who can't or won't meet them. You wish them well and keep your orbit clean. A little fun metaphor for the crew. Boundaries are like turnstiles at a stadium. Everyone can see the game if they honor the entry point. But nobody gets to leap the gate because of feelings. The moment one person jumps, 10 more try, and now it's stampede season. Turnstiles aren't meanness, they're mercy. They keep the experience safe for everybody who actually came to play right. Let's clear another lie. Boundaries push people away. No, boundaries push confusion away. The right people breathe better around clarity. They know what earns access. They know how to keep it. They know how to repair it if they slip. The wrong people call clarity control, because chaos used to be their power. You're not arguing with that. You're outgrowing it. What about kindness? Doesn't a good man meet people where they are? Yes, on the road of progress, not on the couch of excuses. Kindness without boundaries turns to resentment. You say yes with your mouth, and why did I do that? With your chest. Boundaries let your yes be clean and your no be honest. That's the kindest way to live. No hidden invoices, no silent interest charges. Expect turbulence when you turn on gravity. They may test the lines, last-minute invites you used to accept, jokes about your new rules, nostalgia bait. Smile, stand tall, repeat the standard once if needed, and return to your life. Remember the lighthouse. It doesn't swivel for every ship. It shines. If someone truly wants to dock, they adjust to the light. If they wanted the light to chase them into the fog, they weren't coming home anyway. Another picture. Your calendar is a chessboard, not a buffet. In a buffet, people poke everything, take what's hot, leave what's hard. In chess, every move has consequences. Your mornings are your king, non-negotiable protection. Your health practices are bishops, long-range impact. Your deep work blocks are rooks, powerful lines that build real assets. Random texts demanding priority, pawns from another game. You don't flip your board for someone else's impulse. You keep playing to win the game that actually matters, your purpose. And here's the beauty. Boundaries are self-healing. The more you practice them, the less you need to announce them. People feel the field. They sense the gravity. Your tone is calm. Your eyes are steady. Your schedule tells the truth. That's when respect sneaks up on you. The same folks who teased your new standards now ask how you stay focused, strong and unbothered. Answer softly, I stopped leaking access. Marcus again, one more time for the spine. Let your actions define you. Not the argument, not the essay, the action. Close the door at a decent hour. Leave messages until your work is done. Set your plate with food that serves your mission. Step into rooms where your standards are normal, not mocked. Over time, your gravity becomes culture. Your circle upgrades because your orbit demands it. If this spoke to you, plant your flag in the comments so the Brotherhood recognizes you and you recognize yourself. I guard my gravity. Show them, show yourself, show the world around you that your life is not open seating. It's assigned by honor. Stay with me. Next, we're going to turn absence into a mirror and let reality do what arguments never could. Number 5. Absence is a mirror. Accountability without arguments. Truth needs no theater. That's our opening line, my friends. Not louder, not longer, clearer. Arguments try to sell truth. Absence simply shows it. When you step back, you don't punish them. You remove the noise that kept everyone from seeing what's real. Picture a stage after the show. The lights go down. No music, no movement, no applause. Just an empty chair and a microphone that isn't switched on. In that quiet, the room tells the truth. Who stayed for you? Who stayed for the drama? Who only stayed as long as you were performing? That's what your absence does. It cuts the power to the speakers. No more explain yourself. No more tug of war. Just space. And space is a brutal mirror. Here's why it works. People are addicted to reaction. If they can get you to explain, they can delay the verdict. If they can make you argue, they can make you the problem. Your absence removes the scapegoat. It leaves choices standing alone under a bright light. No excuses, no edits, no spin. Marcus Aurelius said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Absence applies that line to behavior. If the pattern isn't right, it won't get your presence. If the story isn't true, you won't repeat it just to keep the peace. Your silence is the audit. A simple image for the folks who like pictures. Think of those grocery store mirrors at the end of a long aisle, curved, wide, unforgiving. You can't fix what they show by talking to the mirror. You fix it by changing position. That's absence. You step out of the aisle, and suddenly the angle changes. What didn't look like a problem becomes obvious. The late replies, the casual disrespect, the maybe later that lasted months. Absence changes the angle so the pattern can't hide. I know what starts to whisper in your mind the second you pull back. What if they don't notice? What if they say I overreacted? What if they call me cold? Those are fear scripts trying to drag you back on stage. Remember, you are not abandoning communication. You are abandoning performances. There's a difference. Seneca wrote, "He who is brave is free, brave enough to step out of scenes that only end with you apologizing for wanting respect." Let's break a soft lie. If I don't keep engaging, they'll never understand. If engagement taught them, you'd be done teaching by now. Some lessons don't land until the resource is gone. Psychologists call it loss aversion. We feel loss more sharply than gain. As long as your presence was guaranteed, no learning happened. There was nothing to lose. Your absence is the invoice reality prints when talk refuses to pay the bill. Another picture. Imagine your attention as Wi-Fi. When it's on, everyone streams, movies, games, noise. Nobody thinks about data. Turn the router off and the room discovers who actually came to work and who only came to scroll. Your absence is the router unplugged, not to punish the house, but to stop paying for endless background streaming. The ones who wanted a connection will reset with you. The ones who want distraction will call you controlling and look for another hotspot. That's not a disaster, that's a diagnosis. Kindness check. Is absence unkind? No. Kindness without accountability is how resentment is born. Your absence protects you from saying what you'll regret and protects them from living off attention they didn't earn. It's a clean boundary. I won't keep talking over the same fire. I'll let the flames reveal what words couldn't. Real kindness is honest placement of your time. What makes absence hard isn't logic, it's biology. Your nervous system is used to the ping, the reply, the tiny rush of maybe this time. When you step back, you'll feel the drag. Reach for the phone, reopen the chat, scroll the page. That's withdrawal, not wisdom. Give your body new rituals while your mind detoxes. Walk, lift, breathe, write 3 true sentences, read 10 true pages, pray for strength instead of outcomes. The body needs something to do while the drama detoxes. Here's the quiet brilliance of absence. Without your voice to argue with, people hear their own. Without your presence to lean on, they count their steps. Without your explanations to reframe, they face their record. Epictetus said, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond." Your response is distance, and distance lets consequence finish the sentence you kept trying to complete with speeches. A little fun example to keep us human. Think of a classroom where the teacher stops talking mid-lesson and writes one sentence on the board. Show your work. No more hints. No more hand-holding. The students groan, then start solving, or they stare at the paper and learn that staring isn't solving. Your absence is show your work. It's amazing how quickly someone's story changes when they have to provide proof instead of promises. You'll hear accusations. You're manipulative. You're punishing us. You're dramatic. Smile quietly. Manipulation uses absence to force outcomes. Discipline uses absence to free outcomes. Check your motive. If your goal is revenge, pause. You've left stoicism and entered games. If your goal is clarity and peace, continue. You're back in your lane. Marcus again. Let your actions define you. Your action is the step back. Your definition is the life you build in the space you just reclaimed. Expect time to do slow work. Absence is not a firework, it's gravity. It draws the real closer and lets the rest drift. Some will circle back with changed behavior. Some will vanish and call it your fault. Both results are blessings. The first shows repair, the second shows release. You win twice, through growth or through pruning. Either way, the garden gets healthier. Before we close, carry this line. Absence is not empty. It's full of answers. It's full of who calls with respect, who arrives with actions, who disappears when you stop performing comfort. Your job is not to chase answers, it's to make space for them to appear. When they do, believe them. If this resonated, mark your line in the comments so the brotherhood sees you and you see yourself. My absence shows truth. Stay with me. Next, we'll talk about the contrast effect, how life's side-by-side comparisons make regret grow without a single speech from you. Number 6. The contrast effect. Comparison creates regret. By their fruits you will know them. Simple, brutal, fair. Life compares everything side by side. Words against actions, promise against pattern, yesterday against today. You don't have to run PR for your value. Reality does the advertising the moment you leave the room and let the comparison begin. Picture two mirrors in a hallway. In one, they see the way you showed up, steady messages, kept plans, calm tone, real repair. In the other, they see what came after, late replies, games, vanishing acts, apologies with no calendar behind them. That hallway is where regret is born, not because you explained harder, but because life put then beside now and let the scales speak. Here's how it works in the mind. The brain judges today against a reference point. You were the reference point. Loyalty, presence, follow-through. When the next chapter can't match it, the gap doesn't stay quiet. It hums. It taps the shoulder at red lights. It rewinds the good you brought and measures the noise they settled for. That's the contrast effect. Your past steadiness raising the cost of every substitute. I know the whisper that creeps in. What if they never compare? What if they just move on happily? If they truly align with better, bless it and keep building. But most of the time the comparison finds them. At dinner, when laughter feels thin. At 2 a.m., when attention evaporates. During an argument when chaos replaces clarity. The mind remembers benchmarks it once enjoyed in peace. It remembers feeling safe. Another picture, my friends. Think of restaurants. One serves hot, clean food on time. The other gives you excuses and cold plates with a smile. You don't need a speech to know which one respects you. You just know. Relationships are the same. They can call you boring for being consistent. Then life serves them exciting, and the bill arrives with interest. Break a lie while we're here. If I don't stay around to remind them, they'll forget my value. No. Reminding becomes begging, and begging discounts you. Your job is not to be their historian. Your job is to be your builder. The stronger you grow, the sharper the contrast. Your peace becomes premium. Your standards become a story. Your absence becomes evidence. Will comparison hurt you sometimes? Yes. You will watch them post highlights with people who don't know the fine print yet. Let it be. Highlights are trailers, not films. Stay on set and shoot your masterpiece. Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." Brave enough to let time finish the lecture you stopped giving. Brave enough to trust that your new life doesn't need their old approval. So hold your line. Train, work, sleep, pray, laugh for real. Put results where explanations used to live. When they look back, the difference will not be subtle, and whether they return humbled or vanish blaming, you still win through restoration or release. If this spoke to you, show up for yourself and for the brotherhood. Like this video, subscribe, and share it with one man who needs the reminder. Drop your final affirmation in the comments so we know you're locked in. I choose standards. Stay with me. More power, more peace. less noise.